Hello everyone, welcome to Kurta TV. So this video is about the peace agreement that has been signed between Rwanda and Congo DRC.
2 months ago in this very room, we signed a declaration of principles, a first tangible step to break with deadlock and chart a path towards peace. Today, that choice takes shape and sustained efforts have come to fruition.
Indeed, the opening which led to today's agreement began in Doha.
Before the agreement was signed, Trump wrote this: "I am very happy to report that I have arranged, along with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a wonderful treaty between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda in their war, which was known for violent bloodshed and death, more so even than most other wars, and has gone on for decades. Representatives from Rwanda and the Congo will be in Washington on Monday to sign documents. This is a great day for Africa and, quite frankly, a great day for the world." What is interesting to notice is that the peace agreement is being sort of touted as if it was an American initiative. And as you can see from their statements, it involves many people. It involves Africans and involves the Qataris. So it's not just Donald Trump, even if people are writing as if this is just the brainchild of Donald Trump and he's the one who negotiated the whole thing.
This agreement is the product of months of coordinated efforts by multiple actors. It is very important to note that the state of Qatar has played an absolutely central role.
After they acknowledge the contribution of the Qataris and then the Americans, and then they also acknowledge the contribution of Africans. And this is crucial.
We thank President João Lourenço of Angola, facilitator of the Rwanda process, for laying critical foundations.
Today's agreement also builds on the African-led peace initiatives, which are ably led by the African Union facilitator, President Faure Gnassingbé of Togo.
So this is crucial. Many of us are asking, why is this mediated by the Qataris? Why is it then signed in Washington, D.C. and not in Addis Ababa or in Nairobi or in Johannesburg, South Africa, or somewhere in Africa? That's why many people say this is just a trade deal. It's not really a peace agreement. One of the most crucial things you ask yourself is, why is this peace agreement being signed between the Rwandan government and the Congolese government, and not between the M23 and then the Congolese government? For those of you who know the complexity of this, as I said, is there are rebels within the Congo that are opposed to the Rwandan government, and the Rwandan government believes they're being supported by the Congolese government. There are rebels that are opposed to the Congolese government that are allied to the Rwandan government, and the Congolese government believes they're being supported by Kigali in Rwanda. And this is just as much as politics, ethnicity, and also moral issues. So it's a complex issue no one can actually oversimplify. So the question is, why then is the agreement being signed? And the Minister of Foreign Affairs for Rwanda actually explains this.
The heart of this peace agreement is the decision to establish a standing joint security coordination mechanism between DRC and Rwanda.
And then we also think about the peace.
Peace is a choice, but also responsibility to respect international law, to uphold human rights, and to protect the sovereignty of states. Those who have suffered the most are watching.
But then we also have to remind ourselves that there are other initiatives that were mentioned at the beginning. Here's a reporter explaining that.
The announcement came as a shock. Angola has said it will facilitate direct talks between M23 rebels in eastern Congo and the Congolese government.
There were other initiatives that did not sort of pan out, maybe because the Africans do not believe in themselves, or because maybe there's not much money involved. And anything to do with Washington always involves trades. It involves the power of Washington, American power. So people tend to want to accept what comes out of Washington than what comes out of Africa. The other thing we also need to remember is what Mbeki has said. The first thing he said is that the agreement between Rwanda and DRC Congo is not a problem. It's a good thing.
The notion that you can negotiate that the government of the Congo and the government of Rwanda must meet and sign a peace agreement, is fine.
Having these two countries in peace is something many Africans would want to appreciate, because instead of these countries antagonizing themselves and then putting their people into this endless cycle of violence, it would be a good idea that they get involved in exchanging development issues, trade, and other technological issues. And that's what they want. So I think the agreement between Rwanda and the Congo is something that we can appreciate. But then he also says this agreement will not end the problem within the Congo, because the problem is internal to DRC Congo. So it should be the Congolese themselves who should sit and then decide on how to move forward as people belong to the same country.
This has been tried before, and we keep saying to the people, to everybody, the problems of the Eastern Congo are domestic to the Congo.
And now we're familiar with this, especially those of us who come from South Sudan. We are familiar with this problem, where opposition leaders always want other people from outside to come and mediate their problems. That doesn't always work. So I think Thabo Mbeki that's a point.
They don't originate from outside of the borders of the Congo.
But when he says the problem doesn't originate from outside Congo DRC, that's when he's wrong, because we all know, even if Kigali denies that they don't have forces in the Congo, that's not true. Otherwise, why would they come to Washington, D.C. and sign an agreement? Peace for what? Is there a war between Rwanda and the Congo, a formal war? We don't. But there are proxy wars that they know. So why would they come and sign if there are no proxy wars? That doesn't make any sense. But I think there is a problem that comes from outside DRC Congo.
So whatever the Americans have been doing to encourage Kinshasa and Kigali to get together and start running, it has not solved the problems of the Congo. That problem must be solved by the Congolese people.
I agree with Mbeki that signing an agreement between Rwanda and the Congo does not solve the internal problems within Rwanda and also internal problems within the Congo. But as an idea to have the two peoples live in peace, that's a good idea. Thanks.